Hello, everybody. Welcome to the new Music and Artist Show, the show that spotlights, highlights, and just might give independent and small record label artists a breakthrough in the music business. I am your host, T. Brown Rebel, and with me tonight is TeawhYB. How you doing, man?
I'm great. I'm great. Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
I've known about you for about 3 years. And, I finally got to see you in September. You came over to Wausau, did a show uh, downtown here.
What a great
And
night. What a great night that was.
that was a lot of fun. And I might have been overserved just a little bit that night, but I wasn't the only one in the crowd. But you put on a great show that night. Oh, we lost TYB. This happens when you do live streams, and it's actually pretty funny. So he should be here in just a second because here he is.
I don't know what
Hey,
happened.
man.
I was going back to the venue because it was so much fun.
That is so funny. Before TYB and I got on, I that happened to me. I actually exited out of the browser, and so that's what happens. And when it's live, you all get it just live. But that show that night in September, getting back to that, that was a blast. You guys blew the house away that night.
Yeah, Jack Greenwood and the boys. We had a live band, and I started off the night in this Italian restaurant around dinner time doing hip hop music, which I think turned some people off. But by the end of the set, there was a couple women dancing after their wine and Alfredo. So but yeah, I mean, Jack brought the whole crew from Wausau, and I mean, just performing with everybody, and it, that's what we live for. That's the reason why we do it. So
Yeah, yeah, and thanks for doing it because I knew a lot of people that were there that night and music lovers, and I thought that everybody had a great time. So, like I said, myself included, and maybe I got a little overserved. I'm not sure, but I'll take accountability myself. So, hey, where are you at tonight? I mean, you get around. What are you doing tonight?
I'm back. I'm just back at home right now. I'm in Eau Claire. I live in Eau Claire, so just chilling in the living room. I just got done with a radio interview earlier today at the top 40 station in Eau Claire, 95.9 Jam. So we're just doing it all tonight.
Yeah, you had a song just come out, "Lay Low,"
Yep.
and you got the radio play today.
Got the radio play today. Yeah, it came out yesterday. The response has been great. Everything's going according to plan. So
Yeah, people are gonna watch this, TYB, they're gonna listen to it. A lot of times it's artists. So not everybody gets radio play when you're an independent artist. Maybe you could go through that a little bit, how somebody could do that.
yeah, I was definitely at that point in my career too. When I first started out, that was one of the things that I always sought after. That was a huge goal of mine to get radio play, locally, nationally, internationally, everything like that. So, in terms of like my best advice for that, every area is different because every radio station has a different director and manager. Some are going to be open to supporting local artists, and some aren't. Some have more restrictions, like if they're sponsored by a national broadcasting system, where they might not have any flexibility of doing that, because a lot of it is like pay to play. So, or they get pushed certain songs that they have to play. So for the artists listening and watching, I think my best advice is to put your best foot forward and make sure that you have quality recordings. Make sure that you're creating something that you can envision on that particular station that you want to pitch it to. Because first and foremost, if it doesn't fit the vibe or it doesn't fit the playlist, they're not going to give you a shot. But making sure that you have professional quality grade stuff, and then don't be afraid to reach out to the music directors and the individuals that are running that station. Follow them on social media, connect with them, comment, and reach out. And then once you build that relationship, then make that connection and try to get your stuff played on the station. Always remember that if you don't have anything to provide, or if you're not supporting them, what's making them want to support you? So I'm very
Right.
much the type of person that it has to be mutually beneficial. If somebody's doing me a favor, I want to make sure that I'm at least providing them something in return.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a small market like Eau Claire, Wausau, Wisconsin. Is it easier to connect than it would be in a big market, say Minneapolis or Chicago or what have you?
Yeah, I have to believe so. I think when you're looking at Minneapolis, there's more opportunities, there's more stations.
Mhm.
So there's a wider net, but there's also 10 times more artists and people that are doing the same thing that you're doing. So I think when you live in a smaller area like Eau Claire or Wausau, um, there's not as many people doing what you might be doing, but also it's usually easier to connect with those individuals that are kind of in charge of that stuff, or the influencers.
Yeah, for sure. So, you mentioned social media and get out and put yourself out there, and this kind of flows. I've been listening to your music all week, and Cabin's got over 1 million streams, and you have over 28,000 followers on Spotify, and that's hard work. That's getting yourself out there, right? I mean, you got to market the hell out of yourself all day, every day, right?
Absolutely. That's half the battle. I mean, I wish I had more time to spend on music because the other stuff, it consumes me, really.
Yeah. Do you have to perform a lot? So many times a week, and just in say, hey, this is Cabin. You find it here. What do you do? I mean, how do you get 1 million streams?
That's a great question. I think part of it is putting yourself in a situation that's going to set you up for success, but also a lot of it is just luck.
Yeah.
You know what they say about luck is opportunity meets like work ethic or whatever. But
Yes.
so with Cabin, I remember releasing it and not really didn't really have a plan, and I was just kind of like, I don't even know how to describe this song. I don't really know what genre it is. I don't know if it's pop or if it's country or if it's hip hop. So I just knew I wanted to release it in the summer, and that
Yeah.
was the plan.
Cool.
So, I did all of these stuff, and basically Spotify is kind of the reason for the success on that with their algorithms. So I kind of
Hmm.
played the algorithm there, and you know, as an artist, you got to set yourself up with Spotify for artists. And any song that you release, make sure to submit it to your distributor for, at least 3 weeks in advance, 2 weeks in advance, to make sure everything's good. And then you can do a pitch to Spotify, which then puts it on Discover Weekly and Release Radar and those different like algorithmic playlists that people will listen to. So I think fortunately, people were just really enjoying the song. I know a couple friends were telling me that there's a band called the Rex, and one of the dudes is from Eau Claire, and he had heard the song and he put it on his story. So then people are in Eau Claire were telling me like, "Yo, he just randomly put your song on his story," and it was getting added to playlists. And so it started off really good. I think there was like 20,000 streams in the first 3 weeks or something like that, which is
Yeah.
pretty good for an independent artist with no backing or label or anything.
Right.
And then it dropped off quite a bit, and then all of a sudden it hit on Release Radar and Discover Weekly, and then it never stopped. And it went from a couple hundred plays a day to now it's averaging 1,500 plays a day for the last year.
Yeah. Well, it's a great song, and
Thank you.
yeah, and the 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 million streams, like I said, that takes a lot of hard work, though, to get that going when you have don't no record label,
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
and that never stops. Just because the algorithm was playing it, I was still pitching it to playlisters and different groups and blogs and stuff like
Hmm.
that to keep the momentum going because I didn't want to rely on that either. and fortunately, it's been added to so many people's libraries that there's really no stopping it at this point.
Right, right. So I was, like I said, I was listening to your music all week, and we've got Supernova. You and Jack collaborated on that. For those of you who um, may have listened to some of the episodes from season one, Jack Greenwood, I think, is episode two, and Supernova came out after that, but your voices blend together just absolutely perfectly. Um, how did you guys meet and decide you wanted to do something like that?
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting story. Jack lived in Eau Claire for a while, and I had randomly heard about him. I listened to one of his songs, and I reached out to him, and I was like, "Hey, man, I really like your style. I like your vibe. I love connecting with artists in the area in Wisconsin and Minnesota, just because I think if people are going to support me, I want to support others that I respect and admire too." So I reached out to him, and then. We didn't really talk much or do anything. He had a show at the Stones Throw, which is a place downtown. You might know the Stones Throw.
Well, it may not have been the stone's throw in my day, but if it's in Eau Claire, I know it.
Yeah, yeah, right on the corner of Barstow and forgot the street, but yeah, I went and checked out his show. He was doing a show, and I was just completely blown away what the covers that he was doing and some of these songs. So I was like, man, we got to get together. We got to get together, and then he ended up moving to Austin, and we were kind of in the midst of talking about stuff, and he reached out and was like, hey, I got some instrumentals, like, you want to collab on something, because he was working on some productions and beats and stuff, and so he sent me some things, and sent him back some demos, and then he was working on a song called Backyard Basketball, and said, hey, I got an open verse, you should jump on this, I think it's perfect for your style and your vibe. So we ended up collabing on that, and that was the first one. And from there, we were just like, yo, we gotta do more. This can't stop. So then he ended up sending me, a bunch more instrumentals, and Supernova was a part of that. Fila's was a part of that. Um, and so now we're completing an album right now with all of those tracks that we've been working on, and working remotely. We don't record
Yeah.
together. I came to visit him and his family once, in Wausau, and we were trying to shoot a Supernova video. um, but I went to go visit him in Austin, Texas this past summer. We shot a video for Fila's and hung out, and finally got to hang out more than just a little bit. So it's a budding friendship, and I don't think there's any stopping us. I think we're going to continue the collab train for sure.
Well, I hope you guys do, because the stuff that you guys have done so far together is outstanding. And like I said, I've two voices that go together. Uh, I'm not kidding you. You get that maybe once in a lifetime. To work with as an artist,
Yeah.
I was going to say, oh, it's the Beatles, and then people just blast me and say, oh yeah, but
Yeah, maybe don't
uh,
say.
right, yeah, but you guys go together well. So hey, man, yeah, Laylo came out yesterday,
Yeah.
I believe, on Groundhog Day. Was that any coincidence that it came
Big
out on
Bill, big
Groundhog
Bill
Day?
Murray fan. So
Great movie.
yeah. I
Eh,
don't know. I usually release songs on Fridays, but I feel like sometimes it gets lost in the mess with everybody
yeah,
else.
yeah.
So I was like, let's just do it on Wednesday. And I was going to use Groundhog's Day as kind of a promotion tactic. Never got around to it, but but it worked out. So
Oh, too cool. So the song though that we're spotlighting when we turn this into a podcast is Cabin. And I like to have you share where it came from, does it have what kind of meaning it has to you?
yeah, yeah. And kind of piggybacking off of our conversation before, I think that the reason why it is done so well numbers wise is because that it resonates with a lot of people, and honestly
Mhm.
it comes from a real place and something that a lot of people can relate to. Obviously it's kind of a cabin, so it's kind of about a cabin, but Um, my family, my dad's side of the family, he has 11 brothers and sisters, and his parents moved from Green Bay to Spread Eagle, Wisconsin, which is way
That's
you.
north, right?
It's north, so it's
Yeah.
Iron Mountain area.
Yeah. I've been to
And
Spread Eagle.
oh, really? Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a. Have you ever heard of the Golden Nugget?
Oh, yeah. You betcha. Yeah.
For
Yeah.
the kids
Yeah.
listening, we won't say what that is, but
I've
um,
never been there, but I've heard of it.
me neither. Me neither. um, so spent a lot of time up north, and with such a huge family, we get together, and every 4th of July we make booyah, which is like a chicken soup kind of
Yeah.
thing.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just a long tradition. And so, such a huge family, you learn so much about life and people, and you get introduced to all different types of people, because I have family that lives in California and Montana and Idaho, and they've traveled internationally, and so the reason that I created this song is because I wanted to create kind of like a safe space
Wow.
vibe, and being
Mhm.
from Wisconsin and Northwoods and stuff, it just resonates with me so much. And Cabin is about friends and family getting together, not being judged, just feeling the love, and just being appreciated for who you are, and not having to try to be something else. And that's how I always felt around my family, and especially being up north, and stuff like that. So I think it just resonates with people. It means so much to me personally that I never get tired of it. I never get tired of listening to it. It's one of my favorite songs to perform as well. So it's just a really beautiful thing.
That's killer stuff, man. I love to hear the stories behind the songs, and us being, kind of from the same area too.
Yeah.
I think all of us can relate to that. You mentioned you did your hip hop set, when you were here, and though I get a little hip hop from your music, but I get a lot of soul, kind of like that 70s groove, of soul. Do you hear that from people?
Not too often, because I think a lot of people just box me into the hip hop realm. I started off rapping. Like I've never been classically trained in music. I can't tell you notes. I can't play any instruments. I've never been in choir. I've never really learned how to sing or anything like that. So everything I do is just by instinct and ear, and I guess
Mhm.
mimicking other things as well. Um, so on that note, like that's the type of music I listen to. I listen to R&B and 70s and 60s soul music, Motown, that kind of thing. That's what really puts me at ease. So,
Mhm.
although I started off kind of like freestyle rapping and writing poetry and stuff, I've always wanted to be a singer, because I never really saw myself as a rapper. I just don't think it really fits who I am. So I've always tried to sing, and now I kind of do a combination of both, I guess. But yeah, that's funny you say that, because that's like what I listen to. So
Yeah, yeah, well, that's what I get out of it, and, you are a hell of a songwriter, and you have that ear, and you must have, like a close to a perfect pitch ear, I mean, because you hit that note right away every time, and,
well, I don't know
uh
about all that,
Yeah, well, I can't tell. So yeah, good for you. But anyway, I do get that. I get that soul vibe. I mean, I'm sitting there and I'm listening to it during the day, and I'm just like, man, this kind of sounds like something that I'm quite a bit older. I wasn't old when it got into like 71, 72. I was like 6 years old or whatever, so I am kind of dating myself. But there's just a lot of music on the radio that sounds a lot like yourself. And that tenor voice that you have too, I mean, it works out perfect. So I really appreciate you putting that stuff out.
well, good. I'm
So
glad I got something going for me.
yeah. So you said you don't have any training or anything like that, no choir in school, anything. So you
Nothing.
just, I mean, but you had to have started somewhere at some age. When did you know you wanted to do this?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess probably in elementary school, I was in those choirs, because they made you, you had to take music class. But Um, I guess I always kind of like could sing by like mimicking stuff. When I was
Mhm.
growing up, I was obsessed with New Kids on the Block, like when I was 4 years old or something like that. And I I went into my sister's room and she had some like neon gel shoes. She had some clip-on earrings and like, just the fluorescent 90s gear. And I would put it on as like a 3, 4 year old, watch this New Kids on the Block documentary, jump on a table with like a pretend microphone, and I would just be like singing and dancing. So my mom always said like you're gonna grow up to be an entertainer. But I never really took it seriously. And I guess I never really knew what I wanted to do. But it wasn't until about I guess 5 years ago that I got back into music with a purpose, and I knew
Mhm.
who I was and what I wanted to do. And it's been no looking back since. So just been working hard and trying to do cover songs to learn how to sing and just kind of learn as I go.
Sure, sure. So, you mentioned that, the 60s and 70s soul and, who are music artists, like, from any era, but, like that era and then moving forward, you said you mimicked artists. Who are they?
Uh, so my dad is really the one that introduced me to music growing up. He's a big classic rock guy. So I grew up on CCR and the Birds and I mean, you name it. So I guess I appreciate every type of music. I'm not super big into like metal and stuff like that just because of the way it makes me feel, but I can certainly appreciate it. But yeah, growing up, I think like Marvin Gaye is one of my favorite artists of all time. Al Green, I was just listening to that today. Just timeless stuff, really.
Mhm.
I love James Taylor. Um, really puts me at ease. I really love the Beatles. Beatles are probably my favorite. My favorite time period of music is 1965 to 75. But I listen to Duran Duran and everything like that. I mean, there's so many artists that are flooding to my mind. I
Yeah,
can't even get them out.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, and then more recently, I mean, I love R&B. So like the '90s and 2000s R&B with the Boys to Men and um, Genuine and all that stuff. But my favorite artist of all time is Frank Ocean. He's been around for 12 years or so now, and he's just a timeless individual with Grammys, and everybody wants to work with him, but he's very hush hush about everything. So, I just kind of emulate the things that I enjoy and I try to blend them all together and make it my own.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, you got a gig coming up
I do.
tomorrow?
Saturday,
Saturday at, uh I know where it's gonna be. Why don't you tell everybody where it's gonna be?
our alma mater, because we both went to UW Eau Claire. But yeah, it's at the Hilltop at the university in Eau Claire. Saturday at 6 p.m. They're doing something a little different, so they're kind of pulling out a bigger venue for us, and I'm hoping that people that just got back to class want to come on a Saturday night and pregame with us and throw down. But I'm looking at it as a great opportunity to get back into shows. I haven't
Yeah.
really done a lot of shows lately, mainly because of winter, but then also
Mhm.
COVID.
Yeah.
So I canceled a couple just to I didn't really want to deal with all the COVID questions, and it's got to be a good experience for us too. So kind of looking at it as a way to jump back in with a new set list and some new songs and get ready for the summer where I'm really going to be hitting it hard. So
Yeah, do they still have the bowling alley in the Hilltop?
they took it down.
No.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They have like a rock climbing wall now in
Okay.
Hilltop, and then they have some esports gaming stuff and billiards and whatnot too.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Hey, what's your favorite gig you've ever done?
whew, that's tough. There's a couple that come to my mind. I did Freak Fest in Madison in 2019, and that's the largest Halloween festival in America.
That sounds interesting.
So that was pretty cool. It was October, but it was rain, snowing,
Ah,
so it was freezing
yeah.
out. So attendance was down, but
But the freaks came out.
The freaks come out at night. And, yeah, by the end of the show by the end of the set, I had my shirt off, I was running through the crowd, like, swinging my shirt up and stuff like that. But honestly, I have to say my favorite show was, this past summer. I got booked to headline Star City Pride. It's a pride festival in Lincoln,
Mhm.
Nebraska, and,
Yep.
they did the whole treatment. They flew us out there, they got us the hotels, and, I went with my DJ and one of my good buddies, Miles Boulevard, who's an artist as well. And, it was such a great environment, being around everybody that's open, and they are just celebrating themselves and their identities, and just there to have a good time. It was I haven't been around a crowd more welcoming and engaging than that. And we got some great footage too, which always helps. And but it was just fun because it was like the whole treatment, and we only performed on Friday, but they had us stay from Thursday to Sunday just to hang out
Mm.
and hang out with the crowd and everything too. So
Yeah, I've done some of those Thursday to Sundays, and, usually I was pretty glad when Monday morning came, could rest.
yeah. Oh my god. Yes. Yeah, it was every night, and then we met one of the club owners there, and so he had us come to the club, and of course it was free drinks and all the vibes that you can get. So
Yeah.
by the end of it, we were ready to go home for sure.
On the show, and I do a 1 minute rapid fire question. So what I do, TYB, I just ask a question, and I call it 1 minute rapid fire. It takes longer than that, but it's
Okay,
kind of like the first thing that comes to mind.
great.
And so you want to play along?
I'm ready. Yes,
All
absolutely.
right. All right. What's your favorite song of all time?
Be My Baby by the Ronettes.
What else did you listen to just before you came on today?
Just before I actually listened to my own song that was played on the radio. Honestly, I know that sounds dumb, but yeah,
Hey, it's you, so go ahead, man. What's your favorite sport?
basketball.
Will the Bucks repeat this year?
Sadly, no.
Who will win the Super Bowl?
I hope the Bengals, but I think the Rams are probably gonna win.
What's your favorite city in the US?
Green Bay, Wisconsin.
What's your favorite food?
Buffalo wings, easy.
What's your favorite drink?
Ooh, I'm assuming we're talking about alcoholic drink, margaritas.
Best movie you've ever seen?
Oh, training day.
What's the best concert that you've ever been to?
Paul McCartney at Bonnaroo. It was a music festival in Tennessee, and Tom Petty was there as well. A couple of years before he passed, and Paul McCartney was just insane.
I've seen him too. I saw
Yeah.
him at the old Milwaukee County Stadium about
Oh,
25 years ago, and Linda was still alive. She was playing the keyboard, and so yeah, yeah, it was a good
I
show. So
remember "Live and Let Die," and then all the fireworks were going. It was just pandemonium. It was so crazy.
yeah, that's tradition at Paul McCartney. So, what's your favorite movie character of all time?
Smokey from Friday.
What are you doing right after this?
I am working on some promo videos.
Outstanding. Hey man, what is next in your career? We kind of talked around it, but yeah, what's next?
Yeah. Well, the future is always so uncertain. But one thing I'm gonna do is keep working, and even if there's not a end goal in sight, I'm just gonna keep putting in the work, keep creating, keep putting myself in situations where when something does arise, I'm gonna be ready for the opportunity. So, quite a few projects coming out this year. I released a lot of singles, but just for the marketing standpoint. But I'm gonna be putting a lot of them into a solo album that I'll be releasing later this year. Jack Greenwood and I have an album coming out together, and then also Miles Boulevard and myself have an album. So looking at three projects this year, which is going to be quite loaded. Currently setting myself up for some festivals and shows and preparing for the summer, which I think is the best time to perform and put yourself out there because that's when people want to get outside and enjoy it. Um, So doing that stuff right now. I have a 3D animated music video coming out soon. But just going to keep working and collaborating with individuals and networking and just enjoying life, really.
What's the big goal?
The big goal is to be sustainable for the rest of my life, and I don't need to be the biggest artist or the most famous or even close to that. But I would love to be able to do this full time, and be able to pay the bills with this, even if I'm not wealthy and rich. I just love doing this. So that's really the goal for me is to touch as many people as I can with my music and inspire them to get out of their box and achieve something great. And hopefully I can continue doing that.
Yeah, cool. Anybody you want to give a shout out to before we hang it up?
Um, I'm gonna give a shout out to my mom because I love her. Um, give a shout out to all of Wausau and Jack Greenwood. We talk about him a lot, and he deserves it. The one thing I love about Jack is every song that we do, I'm like, dude, I love what you did on that verse, and then he's like, I love what you did on that verse, and we just both appreciate each other so much. It's so great. But everybody that's listening and watching, I hope your mind is clear and you're ready to achieve your goals and put yourself in the best situation you can, and just stay positive because the mindset that you have is what's going to guide you.
Yeah. Before, just one last thing, always give everybody a chance to go through all their social media stuff. Where can we find your music? What have you? Why don't you just run it out there?
Sure. This is my least favorite part. I always hate doing this. But so my name is TYB. It stands for Through Every Action, Who Has Your Back? So it's kind of an acronym. TeawhYB. I have a website. It's tyb.com. TeawhYB. All of my music videos, all of my socials and stuff are right on there. But it's TYB everywhere. Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, Tidal, all the things that you'll never even use. Facebook. Let's chat. Let's connect. I'm here.
Sweet. You know, we did not know each other. We have never spoken a word to
Yeah,
each other before tonight.
I remember
And
seeing you at the show, but we
y-
didn't we didn't chat.
yeah, we didn't. And I tell you, this for me was like, we've known each other for a long time. You make it that easy. So
We got to give
uh,
yourself some credit too.
no, when you do some interviews, sometimes you gotta start to you know you gotta start to pull that. You gotta start to connect. And
Yeah.
man, you're so easy to connect with. And I can't wait if you're in Wausau or I'm in Eau Claire. In the way that it would work out, just love to visit for a little bit, maybe share an alcohol or an adult beverage, I should say, and what have you. So TYB, thanks
Absolutely.
so much.
Don't be a
Yeah,
stranger.
yeah, for sure. And I won't be. I'm not that way.
Yeah.
What you see here, I'm one of those extroverted guys. The hands are going all over the place. So, but thanks so much for being on the show. And it would be really great if we do this again sometime in the future too, a live stream podcast, what have you. So
Let's do it.
would okay for sure. All right. Well, if that's what we got, I am going to end the show the way that I always end it by enjoy the music, everybody.